Welcome to Microsoft Excel with AJD. I have tried so much to avoid making a playlist on Microsoft Excel, but I mean, people have been, you know, coming from left and right and center to just say I should do something about Microsoft Excel. I know, of course, in the whole data career, right? So if you talk about data career, like I've always said, the barest minimum thing you should know is Microsoft Excel. So I felt it was so common that I didn't have to worry about it, right? I mean, some people just stop, they just go as far as Microsoft Excel and that's all they do. And with this, you can do things like you can do data analysis, you can do data analysis, you can even do things like dashboards and all that. I mean, if you know this to a level, you can do dashboards. So of course, after Microsoft Excel, then you can think of moving on to say um, things like Power BI, or Tableau. Of course, these are really good for data analytics, data analytics. Of course, these terms are, they are all over the place sometimes. So to unpack them can really be something. So Power BI for data analytics, of course, for dashboards in particular, right? Okay. And of course, it's after you've done this, you can begin to think of things like say, I mean, you can begin to think about SQL, yeah, SQL for database management, SQL, SQL for database management. Then, of course, if you want to, of course, what's SQL? SQL is just for database management, just like I said, right? Database management. So it's all about data, right? Management. So it's after you've done things like this, and you still want to go further, then you can move on to, the next level, and there you begin to talk about either Python, or R. And by now, if you followed me for some time, I have my favorite, and that is Python, right? So with either Python or R, you can still do data analysis. You can do data analysis, right? In fact, you can use for Python, you can I have a playlist on SQL with Python, right? So even SQL can still work here, right? So you can still do database management here, that is. Then of course you can move on to data science, where you have things like machine learning, deep learning, and so natural language processing, and so on and so forth. So I mean, here you have the whole you know, um the whole data science thing, you can just even summarize it to AI, right? So because of because of popular demand, so I feel that the only thing I know I will not do, no matter how anybody pushes me, is Power BI and Tableau, because I am not interested in learning them in the first place. So except, I mean, something serious really happens and I have to do that, but I doubt it though. So Excel is coming because of popular demand. All right, so let's just go quickly into it. Having done that, so in everything I've said now, I've talked about data analysis, I've talked about data science. Of course, other things we want to talk about with things like data engineering and data architecture. But most of the time, the emphasis will be on these three things. And of course, you have the other things like business analytics and so on and so forth. Don't forget that you can to subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. And be sure to hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. And my code sheets are available. Just check the description, the link in the description. It will lead you to a Google Drive where you can get the sheets I'll be using for this lecture. I mean, for this playlist, that is. So don't forget, and you can be a member too. So click on join, and you can see different levels of membership with their attached perks. So straight up, let's talk about getting started with Excel, and that's the purpose of this video. Of course, I'll just do this briefly and then move on to the Excel environment. So, of course, Microsoft Excel is one of the most powerful spreadsheet tools. So, I mean, when you think Excel, you think spreadsheet. spreadsheet. So, and the whole idea of spreadsheet is you have rows and columns intersecting, and then where each row and column intersect, you have a cell. We are going to talk about all of that. So, when you think about Excel, you're thinking about spreadsheets. So, Microsoft Excel is one of the most powerful spreadsheet tools used globally for organizing, analyzing, and presenting data. So, use it to organize, analyze, and present data, right? Whether you're tracking expenses, analyzing business performance, or creating a personal to-do list, Excel is a foundational tool in both personal and professional settings. So let's get deeper into this. Again, what is Microsoft Excel? Of course, I've talked a bit about that. So, what is Microsoft Excel? What is MS Excel? What is MS Excel? Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet application developed by Microsoft. Of course, that's the MS part of that. It is developed by Microsoft, used for data entry calculations. So it's used for data entry. So you want to enter data. Then for calculations, okay, data entry, calculations. Then it's also used for graphing tools. So it has graphing tools. It has pivot tables. We did some pivot tables under data analysis with Python, right? So pivot tables and even more. So it operates on a grid of rows and columns. So you have rows and then you have columns like that. So this will be is seen as a cell, as we're going to see very soon. So it operates on a grid of rows and columns, allowing users to store, manipulate, and visualize data efficiently, right? So what are some key use cases of Excel, right? Use cases of Excel. Of course, as you already know, you can use it for your personal finance, things like budgeting and all that. So budget tracking, expense management, you can use that. Business analysis, you can use Excel for business analysis. Okay, business analysis, like sales data, profit margins, inventory tracking. You can use Excel. You can use it for education. In fact, I've used it a lot for education. I've been using Excel since 2009. In fact, I remember I went on an internship. It's in Nigeria, we call it SIWES, that's Students Industrial Work Experience Scheme. And the project I defended for the internship was all about using Excel for efficient management of results, in the university. So you can use it for education, for grading sheets, attendance registers, research data, and so on and so forth. Then you can use it for project management, right? Management. Project management. Okay. So like Gantt, you can use Excel for Gantt charts, task tracking, resource allocation. Of course, it's also possible you use Excel for data visualization. I mean, we've done data visualization under data analysis with Python. So Excel can also do that for you. Before all these things became more this popular, Excel was the go-to place for data visualization before we had things like SPSS and so on. So creating charts and graphs to interpret trends, you can do that in Excel. Then, of course, statistical analysis. Excel has capacity for that too. For statistical analysis. Okay, so using formulas, functions, and add-ins for advanced analysis, Excel can do that for you. Now, let's move on to talk about some versions of Microsoft Excel. Versions of Microsoft Excel. So, of course, there is Excel 365, which is part of Microsoft 365. So it is cloud-based, regularly updated, includes AI features like data types and dynamic arrays, right? Then, of course, we have different versions of Excel, like if you follow the history, there was Excel 2021, 2019 before that, 2016 before that, 2013 before that. So yeah, these are desktop versions with varied feature sets depending on the release. Then there's Excel for Mac also. So if you use a MacBook, there is Excel for Mac. Okay, so it is optimized for Apple devices, though not all features may be available compared to the Windows version. So you enjoy it best on Windows, since Windows is made by Microsoft and Excel is also made by Microsoft. There's also Excel Online in case you don't have a version on your device. So this is a free web-based version with limited functionality and it's accessible via browser. So you can have access to all of this. Okay, so now that we have this, let's go practical. Let's go practical and open an Excel sheet, or rather Excel workbook. So all I'll just do is, okay, you can click Windows and maybe you find Excel somewhere. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. So you can click on this, or you can also come to the search button and just click on Excel. And I mean, just type Excel, Excel. So it will bring you. So this is what this looks like. So if you click on that, then it opens this kind of interface. So here it shows some uh, data, some workbooks I already have on it. But I mean, because we're just trying to learn, we can open a blank workbook. So I double click, or I mean, single click is fine. So you click on that and you get, you have an Excel workbook here. So now this is what the environment looks like. So now want to navigate the interface, right? So the deal is to understand the layout of Excel. It is very essential to understand the layout of Excel for working efficiently. So the Excel window, so this is the window now. The whole thing you're seeing here is the window. And then the first thing you see is the ribbon. So you have the ribbon here. So the ribbon is actually the toolbar. The toolbar at the top containing grouped commands like you have file here, you have home, you have insert, you have draw, page layout, formulas, data review. So this whole thing is called the ribbon, and it is, or you can say it is the toolbar, that contains all of these things. So you can click on each of these to actually get work done, to do whatever you need to do. Then you have the tabs, right? So each tab in the ribbon reveals different sets of tools. So if you click on file, for instance, it shows you the things you can do with file. You can open a new file. You can open a pre-existing file. Then you can get info on files. You can save. You can save as. So save is when you're saving the first time. Save as is when you want to change what you had saved before. You want to save it as another with another name. So you can save as PDF. You can print. You can share and all that. All right. That's what file does for you. So these are the tabs now. So the first tab is file. The next tab is home. So this is home normally, where you see this whole thing the way it is. Then you can click on insert. So here, so you have pivot table, recommended pivot table, stable picture, and so on and so forth. You can have all of these things. You can insert equations and symbol. You have all of that under insert. Then draw. So you can actually draw. So if I click on this now and I try to do something, okay. So this is me drawing with that here. So I mean, Excel, you can do drawing with Excel for sure. So, but I can undo all that. So another tab is the page layout. Of course, sometimes your spreadsheet, because by the time you're done, right, you may want to print. So whatever you have on the spreadsheet may be larger than this. It may be more. It may not work. It may not fit into a printing page. So you may have to change the orientation. Like say you want it to be in either portrait or landscape. Portrait is the default, right? But landscape, it makes it that you can have it wider for printing. So you have page layout there. So you have size, print area, background, and many other things like this that you can handle. Then, of course, one very powerful thing about Excel is that it has you can use formulas here. So you can sum, you can average, you can find standard deviation, and all of those things. Then, if you click on data, so you can import data from text or CSV, from web, from so you can turn table to range and range to table, things like that. Recent sources, existing connections, queries and connections. So this is already sounding like SQL. Then you can sort your data, you can remove duplicates, and so on and so forth, right? Then review. So here you want to check spelling, thesaurus, workbook statistics, and all of that. So then you click on view also, like, do you want a normal page of page break view, page layouts, custom views, and so on and so forth. Then you have help here. If you need to learn something about something, you're free to do that. Acrobat, you can create a PDF from what you're doing, and then you have a Power Pivot where you can manage your data model and things like this. So let's go back home. So those are the tabs now. Then you have the formula bar. The formula bar shows the content of the selected cell and allows editing of formulas or text. the formula bar shows the content. Yeah, this is the formula bar now. So this is the formula bar here. This place where that long this long bar in front of f of x. So for instance, if I click on this place now, uh, what do I do now? Okay, I think you're good. No, this is still drawing. Let me close it and reopen. Don't save. Yeah. Okay. I open Excel again. So it's at the top because I just opened an up pylon. So I open another one. So it opens again. So this is the formula bar, like I was saying. So if you click on this now, whatever I type here appears in the formula bar up here. So sometimes it may be difficult to make corrections there, but you can highlight what you want to highlight and then come and correct it right here. So you can delete it from here. So that's the formula bar, right? So for instance, if I say 234. Of course, if you want to do addition, of course, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's okay. So if you want to add anything, you start with equality sign. I've not got there yet, but maybe I just want to add 234 plus 456, plus 678, and I just press enter. So that's the result, right? So if you want to edit this, you can either double click this, it brings this back. Maybe I now discover, oh, I need to add uh say 789 to it, enter, right? You remember that, or I now discover, oh, I didn't have to do that, so I can double click this again and delete the 789. So, and it may be hard because the way this one is, so you can just simply come to the formula bar and delete it, and then you go back to what you need. So you have the formula bar right here now. Okay. Then you have the worksheet grid. The main workspace is made of, so the worksheet grid is this whole environment, this whole place. I've deleted that for now. So this whole place is the worksheet grid. So the main workspace is made of cells, uh, individual boxes where data is entered. Now, you have rows, right? Numbered from one to, I mean, it's very large. Let's see, can we get to the end? It's so serious. We can't get to you can only get to the end if you already have something of the work you're doing. But here it's blank, so the end is far. So I mean, I can keep going. So I can just keep pressing page down, and then it keeps going. It goes on for, I mean, it has an end, but the end is almost, you can hardly exhaust it. So now I've gone as much as 11,000 rows, and we are still counting, so you can keep going like that. So if you want to go back home, just press Control Home, takes you back to the first cell. So you see you have cells numbered from from one upwards, and then you have rows. I mean, you have rows numbered from one, two, three, numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. And you have columns. So these are the columns now. So these are your rows. So this is row one, row two, row three. Then this is column one. I mean, column A. So columns are labeled according to the letters of the alphabet. So you have column A, column B, column C, column D, column E, and so on and so forth. So you can keep going. What happens when you get to column Z? You see, it starts from, so it starts with a double letter. So you have A, B, and it keeps going. It also goes as much as possible. So it's almost inexhaustible. So it keeps going like that. So you have endless space to work as far as Excel is concerned, right? So rows numbered and uh, columns uh, alphabetized. Is that a good way to say that? Something like this. But then where a row, for instance, row one intersects with column A, that is a cell called cell A1. So wherever any cell you are in, you always see that here at every point in time. So a cell is an individual box where data is entered. So just like what we did before, I can enter a number here. So that's cell A2, cell A1, cell A2. Now I can enter 65. So you enter things into your cells. So individual boxes where data is entered. So rows are horizontal lines numbered from 1, 2, 3 onwards. Columns are vertical lines labeled A, B, C onwards. Then you have the sheet tabs located at the bottom. So for instance, now, just like you have endless rows and columns, you can have endless sheets. So this is sheet one. I can click another sheet. So now I've left sheet one. This is sheet one, right? With 4, 5, and 45, 65. Sheet two doesn't have anything yet. You can just keep creating sheets. So that's the sheet bar now. So you can have as many sheets as possible. So you don't have to keep opening a in a workbook. You can have everything you need there, So sheet tabs located at the bottom, letting you navigate between multiple sheets in a workbook. So you can have along the line, you're going to see working with multiple sheets for sure. Then you have quick access toolbar. So that's a small customizable bar for frequently used commands, e.g., save, undo, and redo. I'm trying, yeah, is it this? I think it's this now. So you can quickly do so this is your quick access toolbar. You can auto save, you can, just click on save and it saves straight without you clicking on file and going for save. So you can, so if I type 78 here now, all right, and I discovered I need to change it. So I can click on undo and it will remove the 78, you know, if I on, so if I click on undo, so it will undo everything I've been doing here. So I can redo again in case, okay, undo that now and so on. So we can keep at that. So you can, so that's fast. That's a quick access toolbar. It is a small customizable bar for frequently used commands, e.g., save, like we have here, undo and redo. So that's a quick access toolbar. Okay. Next, we have so how do we create, save, and organize workbooks? Creating a workbook, of course, just like we did, we launched Excel, then you choose a blank workbook, which we chose already. There was nothing here by the time we started. So this is blank. So you choose a blank workbook or a template from the start screen. So you can also choose templates. Maybe we'll talk about that later on. Then saving a workbook, you can click File, Save As, and choose a location. I'll do all of that by the time we are done with whatever task we have for today. So organizing workbooks now. Of course, to save, I'll show you how to save for sure. Organizing workbook, use descriptive file names and folders to group related files. So if you're working on something like all the sheets, 1 sheet, 2 sheet, 3, it's easy to name them specifically if you are working on something. For instance, if I get to use this a lot for recording scores of students and things like that. So it's better to say, okay, maybe I'm teaching them a number of courses, maybe MTS 102, MTS 105, MTS 201. So it's better to name the sheets like that instead of just leaving them as sheets 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and so and all that, right? So use descriptive file names and folders to group related files. Then use sheet names. So you can double click the tab to name, to rename, to identify different data sets or sections. So I can right click on this or double click. So I can write double click this way, and then I say this is say, let me just say there's a, okay, for instance, I'm talking about Microsoft. So Microsoft Excel, I can say MSE 1, I come here, I can, instead of double click, I can also right click and rename, and I say this is MSE 2, and so on and so forth. So instead of just having sheet 1, sheet 2, you can rename the sheets so that you can easily follow when you need it later, right? So color code, you can color code sheets for easier navigation. All right. So you can say this whole sheet now, just press Control A, and then okay. I think something, there was something that's supposed to good. Is it this now? I don't think so. Home, yes. So maybe we want this whole thing to be light yellow like this. Okay, Control Home, Control A. So home. So maybe this is background, right? Theme colors. So maybe you want this whole thing to be all yellow like this. And maybe this yellow is too deep, right? Let's look for something lighter. Home, and I just want a theme color that is just a bit like this. Control Home, Control All. Then I'm going to explain some shortcuts to you along the line. They are really helpful. Okay, so this is what we have. So for MSE2, now maybe I now want take it back home, Control A. Anytime you want to apply something to everything, just go back home. Control Home just takes you home. Then come to Home now and say you want to make this maybe light blue like this. Okay. Where is it now? Home, and then you just want a theme color that is just something like this. Like it's not applying. Why? Mm, home. This is fill color. I think, is it fill color we need? I think it's fill color. Yeah, this is it. Okay, that was what we did before too. So you have MSC1. So once you see the color, it has a way of reminding you. But beyond even doing that for sheets, you can do it for even some rows and columns and all that. We're going to see all of that as we go on. So let me undo all this now. Come back here and undo all this. Yeah. Okay. So you can do color coding. So, but and don't forget also to regularly use save or enable autosave in Excel 365 to avoid data loss. In this case, this is Excel 365 for sure because we have autosave up here. So, so that you won't lose your work in case anything goes wrong. Then let's talk about basic data entry and editing techniques. So entering data, you click on the cell and begin typing, just like I've done before. So press enter to move to the next row. So if you type something here, 4, 5, next row, or if you need to go to the next row, you come here, 6, 7, you go 8, 9, and of course you can go to the next column too, and just keep typing as you need it like that. So whatever. So that's how to enter. We are going to conclude this video with a task. So I'll soon get there. So use uh click on the cell and begin typing. Press enter to move to the next row. So if you press enter, it will keep moving you to the next row. Or you can use down arrow, up arrow, right, left. You can use all these arrow keys for navigation. Editing data, double click a cell to edit directly or select it and type to overwrite. Okay. So if I want to change 45 to something, I just highlight it and just say, maybe I now want to make it 66. It just automatically overwrites it. But if it is very long, you can use the formula bar to overwrite for sure. So you can use use the formula bar for longer entries or formulas, just like what I showed before. Then you can copy and paste too. So let's say what I have here, I just want to duplicate it to another place. So I just copy, or I can either control C. I'm used to the shortcut, or you can right click and copy, and then you come to where you want to paste it and just paste. You can paste as many times as you want, right? So Control P, Control C, Control V, Control C for copy, Control V for pasting. And there are different types of pasting as you're going to see later on. So I can also right click instead of just Control V, I can just paste. So just paste normal. There are different types of pasting. You can paste maybe just the values in case you have a formula, you can paste the formula alone and you can reverse it. So if you can transpose it, right? So this is like, it also looks like a matrix. So if you transpose it, this is what it looks like. So you brought a 3 by 2 matrix and it becomes a 2 by 3 matrix by the time you transpose. So you can paste the transpose. So these are possibilities. So let's say you have something in a column and you want it to now be in a row after you're done. For instance, if I copy this whole thing now, right? If I copy this whole thing, which is like a row kind of thing, and I come back and right click and I transpose it, is what it now looks like. So you can transpose data like this, right? So okay, so select a cell or range. Okay, press Ctrl C or copy and then Ctrl V to paste. Then use Ctrl X to cut. So you can also cut, right? So let's say this thing I pasted here now, and I want to cut it. So I just come and just cut it. And then, of course, I can still go back and paste it somewhere. Maybe I now want to paste it. I still want to paste. I just want to paste again. So I just put it here. So these are possible. Then if you so there's also field. You can drag the small square at the bottom right corner of a selected cell to copy or extend data. For instance, if you want to type days of the week, you have Monday, you can type it in full or short, Tuesday. Once you type the first two, you can just come here and autofill. So you just drag. So it takes care of, so it just follows the sequence. If you are doing numbers, you have 1, 2. So you need to show it a pattern by typing the first two, and then you can drag it and it goes as much as you want it to go. So that's autofill right there for you. So that's autofill. So what else can you do? Say you want say okay, if I'm Monday, Tuesday, you don't even have to show Tuesday. Let's do month of the year. Let's say you have January, you can even make it short. So once you do January, you can just do the rest because it already follows the pattern. But if it is a number, like maybe you want maybe all you want numbers starting from 1 and then and you're adding 3 regularly. So 1, 4. So once you have 1, 4, it just keeps adding 3. So 4 plus 3 is 7, and it just goes like that. So like a kind of arithmetic sequence. So you can do that for autofill. So just show the pattern with the first two numbers, and then it can take care of the rest. Okay, and of course you can delete data. Select a cell or range and press delete to clear content without removing the cell. All right, so I can just highlight everything I've ever done and delete, so everything is gone. So I go back home, control home. So you can delete data like that. So our task before this is over, we want to create a simple personal to-do list. And so let's walk through creating a basic to-do list using Excel, right? So of course we have opened a blank workbook already, so we just want to work with this. So what we now do is we now label the columns. So in column one now, in the first row, so usually you want to put your column titles in the first row here. So in row one, you enter the headers. So in A1, let's say we have a task. Then in B1, we have the due date for the task. So because you want to create a to-do list, due date. Okay, so you see I made a mistake there, so I can come up here and correct it and press enter. So due date, after due date, we need what is the priority of the task? Priority. And after that, what is the status of the task? Okay. Now, another thing I may want to do is maybe at the very top of this. I always like to do this. So at the top of this now, I can just come and insert. Okay. So because I want to do it's a personal to-do list. So I just come up here, all the cells covering those four headers, and I just come and say, maybe I have to go home and do a merge. So you click on merge. So it merges all the cells. Maybe that's not quite clear. I think I want to have that showing. What can I do? Yeah, I think, yeah. So let me undo. Yes. So now I highlight all the cells above these four things. And you can see this is merge and center. All right. This is merge and center. So you can merge across, you can merge cells, you can unmerge cells also. So I just do merge and center. So, and I just say to do list, to do, to do list, to do list. So, and everything is centralized like that. So let's go ahead and start doing the tasks now. So in A3 now, let's say the task is to buy buy groceries. So I click on this. So I mean, when what you have in a cell is longer than the cell, so you can just double click. So make sure this arrow is showing this kind of arrow and double click so it extends automatically. So you buy groceries. What is the due date for buying groceries? You can have this here. Say that 2025 June 30. That is the due date. Okay. So now this is okay. Now, once you type that, it automatically takes this shape. It gives you this format. So we're going to talk about formatting in the next video. And then there's priority. What's the priority of buying groceries? Of course, it's high. And what is the status? Not started. So if it is started, you can say it started already. So not started. So that's that. Then, of course, one other thing you can do is, you can insert columns, right? So I can just say insert here so that I can now have a serial number, right? So I want to number, because this numbering you have here would not apply to whatever you're doing. So it is the number you put yourself that will apply. So in this case, now you see I have to extend the merge and center at the top. So I can come back here and click, it will unmerge and then merge again. So to now centralize the whole thing together. All right. So I can have serial number one. Okay. So buy groceries. Then number two, the next task, maybe I want to finish a report. Finish report. Okay, finish report. And the due date to finish the report is 2025 7, that's July 1st, like that. And the priority is medium, okay? Like it's not that pressing, depending on how soon you need to do it. So that's how you classify the priority. And the status is how far have you gone with that? In progress. So you've started writing the report. So you just say in progress. Okay. Then what else? Let's say you have a third task, which is to call the electrician. So something is wrong. I need to call the electrician. Call the electrician. Okay. So, and to call the electrician, what is the due date to call the electrician? That's 2nd of July, 2025. July 2nd. So how important is that? Okay, not so important, say low. And then what is the status? Of course, it's not that important, but you've done it all the same. So that's good to go. So you can just continue listing all of these things. Now, some formatting tips, of course, we are going to do formatting proper later, but let's just do some initial formatting tips. For instance, this is a header now, so you can make this bold, so the general header, then you have the uh, column headers. You can also make them bold, and you can centralize. So if you click on this, they come to the center. You can make them right like this or left like this if you want. It all depends on what you're more centralized. Does a good job. So that's one. So you can make bold by just pressing Control B. Or apart from that, you can right click and you see do we see bold somewhere? Yeah, this is bold here. So if I click on this, they are gone. Click on it again, they are bold. Or you can just press Control B. That's the easiest way to go, right? What else do we need to do? You can use borders for readability. So in that case now, I can just come here and do all of this. So maybe I want everything centralized. Um, or maybe you just want a row to be centralized and things like that. You can choose how you want those things to be. Maybe I want to centralize the whole serial number now. So I just come centralize this. For task, I just want to leave them the way they are. And for the dates, maybe I want to centralize the dates too. So I just have this. And then for the priority, I centralize also. Therefore, the status, I just want to leave it the way it is. So you want to use borders for readability. So you highlight everything. So this is where you have the bottom, you have borders. So different kinds of borders. When you click this, you have borders. I always like to use all borders where you have everything well demarcated, because all these lines you're seeing, when you print, you won't see them, right? So if you really want to have lines, just like you have to put your own 1, 2, 3, instead of relying on their numbering, the numbering is just to guide you. So you want all borders, so you just come here and click all borders. So now everything has borders. So you have that simple task right there. So what else can we do? So apply filters, click on any cell in the header row and go to home, sort, and filter. So you can apply filters, right? Click on any cell in the, okay, let me just follow this. So use borders for readability. I've done that. Select range home. We've done that already. Then if you want to apply filters, now you click on any cell, uh, click on any cell in the header row. So let me say I click on this cell now. All right. And then I go to home. So we're at home already, right? Then sort and filter. Okay. Okay. I think, okay, for us to do this now. So you click on this cell now, and then you have, I think we have sort and filter somewhere here. Yeah. So if you click on this now, so you can decide what exactly do you want to sort. So you can just say sort A to Z. Or if I come to task, then I click on sort and filter A to Z. So what happens is that buy groceries becomes number one, call the electrician is number two. So it's sorted, filtered um according to the date, according to the in alphabetical order. That's all that is doing there. Then you can have other things like conditional formatting. So apply conditional formatting to highlight priority tasks. So you can select column C. In this case, our column C it's not column D for us. So you can select column D, then you're at home, then you go for conditional formatting. So we have conditional formatting here. So so you click on this now. So it's then you go to highlight cell rules. So you click on highlight cell rules and text that contains, so maybe you just want text that contains high, right? Um Text that is cells that contains greater than high. So you can just say greater than high, and that's okay. Okay. So you can you can format this now to show that, oh, this is always important to you. Highlight cells text that contains high. Um Okay, so priority is something you want to pay attention to. That's what conditional formatting is about. Then, of course, when all of this is done, you can click save and go to save as and name your file. for instance, I just come here now. By the time it's all done, so I just come here and say save. So I just save, or you can click save as anyone you choose. Um, so we are saving it on this PC, and should we go into the desktop? Or better still, let me say save or save as, right? Okay, yeah, this can work. So I just come here. I want it to be on the desktop. Um, do we have, okay, I think we have more locations here. Can we, yeah, we have the desktop here. Then on the desktop, I can save it inside the folder for this. That's Math with EJD. In Math with EJD, we now have Microsoft Excel with EJD, this now. So then I name it to-do list. To-do, to-do list. Of course, maybe I'll put number one there to show that it's attached to lesson one. So I just save that, and then our job is done. So with that, we come to the end of this video. So let me go to the desktop now, and I closed it already, so I can now go back and retrieve it. So Microsoft Excel with EJD. So you can see my to-do list now. So the list is there, right there. Okay. So now that's our job all done, right there. Okay, I think next time I'll make it bolder so it can be this clear. But I think for now we are good to go. All right, so this is the end of this video. Let me know how helpful this has been for you, and if there's something you like on the tryouts, if there's something you want me to do, using Excel, you can do that. You can tell me so I can implement that in subsequent videos. If you have subscribed already, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released, right? I have membership. You can become a member of my channel. So click on join, and then you see the possibilities of being a member and the different benefits you stand to enjoy by being a member, right? So also like and share this video and every other video you find on my channel so that more people can have access to this great content. Till I come your way again, keep doing data right. Bye.